Can we hit Green Bay, Dallas?
Let's do it.
Because there are eights. There are eights now, guys. Like, this is all Cowboys money. Early, respected Cowboys money. Went from 7 to 7.5. The total's been going up. We're at 51 now. There's a couple 51s this week. Another NFC matchup. So maybe we end up having some shootouts over in that conference. But, wow, just to see, like, the Nugget, the win, they go to 8 already. Like, boy, there's a lot of support for the Cowboys, and I understand it.
Man,
Do you understand it, Aaron?
Cowboys overlook this Packers team and somehow find a way to mess this up. But
overlook the playoffs?
Yeah, I know it's going to be tough.
Wait, we have a game this weekend? What?
Who's next? Who is next? Who's after the Packers? But yeah, Jordan Love is playing some good football, but it is tough. It's been a cool story, but much like the Texans, I don't think this is their year. Like, I think impressive that they got here, and Jordan Love has slowly and quietly improved throughout the season, but I don't expect the Packers to do a whole lot in the playoffs.
One book has posted CeeDee Lamb yards. Any guesses?
95.
97.5 to start the week.
Look at that.
Where's it going to close? 101?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
101 probably.
Probably.
Yeah. You know what's interesting to me when we're talking about why the Steelers have any buzz whatsoever and why we're even talking about Mike Tomlin figuring something out is you look at the last 3 games for Pittsburgh. You know, Najee Harris has the 4th most rushing yards over expected, 72 carries, 312 yards, 4 touchdowns. They've also had the number 1 rushing defense in terms of allowing rushes to go over expected. And then there's the Jaylen Warren factor in terms of, you know, his limited workload still being uber efficient. And I wonder, having the run and containing the run, that's why we're looking at Pittsburgh very differently and why some are even saying they are quasi-dangerous, especially in these kinds of conditions where maybe Buffalo's passing game is nullified a little bit because you really, in those conditions, don't want to throw beyond 10 air yards. I wonder if that's why the buzz exists, and that's all fine and dandy, but that's not sustainable throughout the course of a playoff run. And it may not be sustainable in this first game against a really good Bills team. You have to be able to pass the ball, and you have to be able to contain the pass. And I just don't know if I trust either of those dimensions.
Yeah. What short passing game do you like more? I think it's pretty obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's probably going to replay. That's going to supplement the run game. That's what we're going to see a lot of in that one. So that would be worrisome. And, you know, the Bills' defense has been better. I want to see the status of Rasul Douglas, and you know we get these. This is a Sunday game, but with the Saturday games, we're going to start to get those injury reports today, which will be interesting. I'm sure it'll throw markets haywire because everything does. Look, we're sitting here on Tuesday morning, and the majority of these games just point spreads all over the place, really all over the place. And I think it's pretty interesting. Like, when do we get to a point where it settles in, or does it just never? Like, any bit of info out there, any sort of a tweet by a newsmaker, where it's just going to move markets. It feels like we're seeing more movement now than ever before.
Do you suppose that's because there's more condensed activity, because there are fewer games, and so maybe these lines are more volatile because more people are betting on fewer things?
Possibly, but didn't we see this all season too? Like, just the movement every single day with the number of games. But we still know that early on in the week, it's typically the smarter money, and then the majority of bettors come in over the weekend. So I always keep that in mind when I see these early moves.
Does this team want to play anymore? Are they just done with each other and just want to go home? And I say that dead serious. This seems like a team whose locker room chemistry is as bad as it gets in the NFL. They just, when they roll over against the Giants, I mean, they just didn't care. They looked at like a team that was like, get us on a golf course because we don't want to play football with each other anymore. I mean, something has gone really, really sour with the Eagles these last 6 games. And, you know, they lost 5 of 6, and a lot of these games were blowouts. Like, this was legitimately, if you're just taking a 6-game sample size, the Philadelphia Eagles have been one of the worst teams of football over the last 6 weeks. And 6 weeks is not insignificant either in an NFL season. So I I just kind of want to see, is there any leadership there in Philly? Is it the sky's falling, or I mean, can they rebound out of this? I don't know that they can. I really don't. But you look on the Bucs side, and their offense has just hit a wall. The last 2 weeks, they got a couple garbage touchdowns against New Orleans, but other than that, they've basically gone. If you don't count the fourth quarter there in Week 17, they've got 7 quarters without a touchdown. You can't score a touchdown against Carolina Panthers with the division on the line. That's a red flag there. So I don't know. I'll probably talk myself into Eagles by Monday night, but I don't feel comfortable about it because they've been legitimately terrible. I don't think so. I think, can I put on my Wisconsin alum hat real quick and get bitter about Michigan? I think that the head coach at Michigan loves the attention. He's an unusual guy. And I think we're going to be sitting here in 15 years from now being like, oh, Jim Harbaugh's throwing his hat back into the NFL ring, and everybody's going to get fooled by this again. I believe he likes
like Cower, like every year.
Yes, every year. Gruden was the thing too. You know that. You remember that. We're just going down this road now with Jim Harbaugh, where it's going to be, as somebody who has to write about this all the time, I just roll my eyes and I'm like, oh, we're doing this again. Jim Harbaugh's agent is awesome at getting his name in the headlines and keeping him in the cycle. And I don't think he's ever going to leave Michigan, ever. Like, I truly believe that. I believe he's going to retire as Michigan's coach. And we're going to talk about this. And I say this only half kidding. We're going to talk about this every year for like the next 20 years until he retires.
If he's getting any first round love, you go this year. Because like Aaron, like you just said, you're probably losing Jim Harbaugh, and maybe that makes a decision for you. That dude is not an NFL quarterback. I'm sorry. Maybe he's a career backup, which is fine. But if you're getting told you're going to go in the first round this year, you go and you don't look back.
But he's not being told.
I think he shouldn't be. But I just don't know, regardless, that his stock won't be higher than it is this year. You're going to lose Harbaugh, and I just don't know that you're not going to win a title next year. And are you going to are you all of a sudden going to be like picking defenses apart? I don't think so. I just don't know that his draft stock will ever be any higher. So if like early second, if you're late first, early second, you could, like, from a talent and development standpoint, the smart move is to go back. 100% agree. I just don't know from a draft stock perspective if his draft stock will ever be any higher.
Like, he didn't pass the ball much at all season. Part of it wasn't. At least you got to put more things out there to where you're a little bit more reliable. Like right now, he's a massive unknown, and I don't think teams want to put in a first round pick on somebody who, just doesn't pass the ball that much. Like, yeah, he's a great runner. That's fine. But you need an offense that's kind of tailored to his skill set. And there aren't that many out there right now. Sans like the Falcons or someone like that. But, they're not going to use McCarthy. He's number 8 overall. At least I wouldn't think so. But I do believe, though, that if he can sort of prove that he can pass like even short passes with some kind of consistency, then I think his draft stock can go up regardless of how well or poorly Michigan does in terms of a team quality perspective next season.